IBM Cloud Outage Update. Understanding the architectural fragility. IBM Cloud suffered its second major outage this week on Wednesday, once again disrupting essential services and leaving customers worldwide unable to log in or manage their resources. The recent IBM Cloud outages are part of a broader pattern of modern cloud dependencies being over-consolidated, under-observed, and poorly decoupled. Most enterprises and regulators tend to scrutinize cloud strategies through the lens of data sovereignty, compute availability, and regional storage compliance. Yet it is often the non-data plane services identity resolution, DNS routing, orchestration control that introduces systemic exposure, said Sanchit Gogia, Chief Analyst and CEO at Greyhound Research. Gogia said this blind spot is not unique to IBM. Similar disruptions across other hyperscalers, ranging from IAM outages at Google Cloud to DNS failures at Azure, illustrate the same lesson. Resilience must include architectural clarity and blast radius discipline for every layer that enables platform operability. As quoted in networkworld.com in an article authored by Nitty Single published on June 5, 2025. Beyond the media quote, our view in full. Press for time? You can focus solely on the Greyhound flashpoints that follow. Each one distills the full analysis into a sharp, executive-ready takeaway, combining our official standpoint, validated through pulse data from ongoing CXO trackers, and grounded in field notes from real-world advisory engagements. Recurring login failures suggest architectural fragility in the cloud control plane. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, when platform incidents recur within the same control plane function, particularly authentication, it often signals that resolution efforts are focused on symptoms, not system-wide root causes. In the case of IBM Cloud, the repetition across two outages within weeks, both centered on login access, points to a likely shared infrastructure dependency, such as a centralized DNS resolution layer, global identity gateway, or misconfigured orchestration controller. The architectural concern here is not about uptime in the data layer, but operational fragility in the invisible scaffolding that governs access, observability, and orchestration. What amplifies enterprise concern is not just the recurrence itself, but the lack of clarity around architectural containment, whether blast radius boundaries were redefined or if dependency chains were decoupled post-incident. Incident response, no matter how timely, cannot substitute for architectural foresight. And when even core functions like support case access become unreachable during outages, as seen in IBM's own advisory limitations, it raises deeper questions about how cloud providers design for control plane resilience. These events are a caution against assuming that scalability equals fault tolerance. Repeated outages erode trust in business continuity for high availability and regulated sectors. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, recurring access-related outages, however short-lived, trigger a disproportionate governance and risk response within regulated and uptime-sensitive sectors. Industries such as banking, healthcare, and energy operate within tightly bound regulatory and SLA environments, where even transient disruptions to platform control can set off internal compliance alerts, stakeholder escalations, or forced reassessments of cloud posture. These enterprises aren't just evaluating the immediate impact of a login failure. They're accounting for the downstream loss of control, inability to issue fixes, or delayed observability during moments that demand rapid action. The concern is particularly acute when orchestration, backup scheduling, or service desk operations are tethered to a single access layer. In such cases, access denial becomes risk amplification. As cloud adoption deepens in these sectors, CIOs are shifting from measuring resilience by infrastructure uptime to measuring it by business responsiveness. A cloud platform that fails to offer fault-tolerant access mechanisms, especially for mission-critical operations, is no longer just a service provider. It becomes a business continuity risk in itself. That reputational transition is hard to reverse. Global cloud dependence has hidden fragilities, especially in orchestration, identity, and DNS layers. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, the recent IBM Cloud outages are part of a broader pattern of modern cloud dependencies being over-consolidated, under-observed, and poorly decoupled. Most enterprises and regulators tend to scrutinize cloud strategies through the lens of data sovereignty, compute availability, and regional storage compliance. Yet it is often the non-data plane services identity resolution, DNS routing, orchestration control that introduce systemic exposure. These components are frequently global in design, centralized across fault domains, and not transparently declared in vendor SLAs or architecture briefs. The real systemic risk is this: A well-configured, secure workload can still become inaccessible or unmanageable if its supporting control logic fails. This blind spot is not unique to IBM. Similar disruptions across other hyperscalers, ranging from IAM outages at Google Cloud to DNS failures at Azure, illustrate the same lesson. Resilience must include architectural clarity and blast radius discipline for every layer that enables platform operability. Until enterprises and regulators begin demanding transparency and optionality at the orchestration and identity layers, control plane failures will remain both more likely and more opaque than many anticipate. Analyst in focus, Sanchit Gogia. Sanchit Gogia, or SVG as he is popularly known, is a globally recognized technology analyst, innovation strategist, digital consultant, and board advisor. SVG is the chief analyst, founder and CEO of Greyhound Research, a global, award-winning technology research, advisory, consulting, and education firm. Greyhound Research works closely with global organizations, their CIOs, and the board of directors on technology and digital transformation decisions. SVG is also the founder and CEO of the House of Greyhound, an eclectic venture focusing on interdisciplinary innovation. Copyright policy. All content contained on the Greyhound Research website is protected by copyright law and may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, displayed, published, or broadcast without the prior written permission of Greyhound Research or, in the case of third-party materials, the prior written consent of the copyright owner of that content. You may not alter, delete, obscure, or conceal any trademark, copyright, or other notice appearing in any Greyhound Research content. We request our readers not to copy Greyhound Research content and not republish or redistribute them, in whole or partially, via emails or republishing them in any media, including websites, newsletters, or intranets. We understand that you may want to share this content with others, so we've added tools under each content piece that allow you to share the content. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our community relations team at connect@thofker.com.